Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a genuinely provocative article from Block's Jack Dorsey and Roelof Botha. And this one, well, it questions the very structure of the modern company.
To really get what they're saying, we've got to start by rewinding the clock, way back. Because it turns out, the core challenge that every single large company faces today, it was pretty much solved 2,000 years ago.
I mean, just look at the consistency here. You've got the Roman legion with its nested command structure. Then the Prussians basically invent middle management. Then the first real corporate org charts pop up with the railroads, all the way to modern ideas like Spotify's squad model. And what happened? They all landed on the exact same answer, a hierarchy.
Now, this wasn't an accident, and it wasn't for a lack of imagination either. Hierarchy just became the default because it was the only thing that could solve a fundamental physics problem. How in the world do you get the right information to the right people at the right time when you have a network of thousands?
And as Dorsey and Botha point out, even the most radical, recent attempts to break this mold, like Zappos trying out holacracy or Valve's famous flat structure, they just couldn't escape its gravity. As soon as they got big enough, they all snapped back to some form of hierarchy.
So, here's the crucial takeaway from all that history. For 2 millennia, hierarchy wasn't just the best option for routing information at scale, it was the only option. Until, they argue, right now.
And this gets us to the absolute core of their entire article. It's a total reframing of why management and org charts even exist in the first place. So, forget about power, forget about status. Their argument is that a hierarchy's primary job is to act like a biological information router. Think about what a manager actually does all day. They gather context from their team, they relay decisions from leadership, they try to keep everyone aligned. It's all just an information problem.
This chart just perfectly illustrates the shift. On the left, you've got the human hierarchy, manually doing all these information tasks. And on the right, you have an AI world model doing the exact same things, but it's doing them continuously, instantly, and for the entire organization all at once. This isn't AI as a tool for the hierarchy, it's AI as the hierarchy.
So this is the massive bet that Block is making. They're trying to rebuild their company not as an organization that uses AI, but as an organization that is literally structured as an intelligence.
So what fuels this intelligence? Something they call honest signals. It's a huge advantage for them, because Block sees both sides of millions of transactions. The buyer on Cash App and the seller on Square, they have access to the raw, undeniable truth of what people actually do with their money. As they say, money doesn't lie.
Okay, so here's how they're actually building it. Instead of organizing around products, they're organizing around these 4 distinct layers. At the bottom, you have the raw financial capabilities, like the ability to make a payment or offer a loan. Then you have the world model that understands everything about the company and its customers. On top of that is the intelligence layer, which acts on that understanding. And finally, you have the interfaces, like Cash App and Square, that actually deliver the solution.
Now, this is where it gets really mind-bending. The intelligence layer might see from the data that a restaurant's cash flow is getting tight, so it could proactively compose a short-term loan for them using the lending capability and surface it right at the moment they need it most. No product manager drew that up. The system saw the need and acted.
So, how do you decide what to build next? Well, the system tells you. When that intelligence layer tries to put together a solution for a customer but can't because some necessary piece, some capability is missing, that failure, that gap right there, that is the signal for what the engineers need to go build. The roadmap is literally generated by reality, not by a committee meeting.
Okay, so this all leads to a pretty massive question, right? If the system is handling strategy and alignment and even the roadmap, what is left for all the people to actually do?
Their answer is the edge. The people become the sensors and the actuators, right where the digital model touches the messy, unpredictable real world. This is where you need human intuition, cultural context, trust, ethical judgment, all the things the model can't, or frankly shouldn't, handle on its own. In this new world, the entire org chart gets way simpler and basically boils down to just 3 roles. First, you have the individual contributor, or IC. These are your deep specialists who build one of the layers of the system. And here's the key part. They get their context directly from the world model, not from a manager.
The second role is the directly responsible individual, or DRI. Now, this person doesn't own a team. They own a specific customer problem, like reducing merchant churn, for a set amount of time, say 90 days. They have full authority to pull resources from any of the capability teams to solve it, and then they move on to the next problem. And finally, there's the player coach.
This role completely replaces the traditional manager. Their job is not to route information or negotiate priorities. The system does all that. Their job is to stay in the craft, to keep coding, to keep designing, and to invest in the growth and the skills of the people around them.
And here is the really stunning conclusion to all of this. That whole information routing, decision relaying, alignment maintaining function of middle management, it's just gone. It has been completely absorbed by the system.
And that leads us, inevitably, to the most pointed and, let's be honest, probably the most uncomfortable question that this article raises, especially for a lot of us watching this.
Just really think about that for a second. If the AI is proactively creating solutions for customers, and the roadmap is just being generated automatically from failure signals, what exactly is left for the traditional product manager to do all day?
The article's simple two-word answer is the edge. The job is to live at that point of contact with reality. It's handling the ethical calls, the totally new situations, the high-stakes moments that absolutely require human judgment.
But we have to be real with ourselves for a minute here. This vision, it's not really a story about AI augmenting product managers. It's a story about AI replacing the core functions that many PMs spend most of their time doing today, gathering contacts, prioritizing work, and building roadmaps. And that's a tension that is really worth sitting with.
And that is the final challenge that Dorsey and Botha leave all of us with. They're asking every company to figure out what it uniquely understands about the world. Because if that understanding is deep, if it compounds, then AI doesn't just make you a little bit better, it fundamentally reveals and accelerates what your company was meant to be all along. And that's a question we all need to start asking.